Hello, I'm FBX and this is QnA Saturday, the weekly series I run on my channel where I answer your questions that have been asked over the past week or so on my channel. These tend to be mostly about Minecraft updates, obviously given what my channel is about, but also a lot of questions about life and the universe in general too. So if you want to leave your own question for next week's QnA Saturday, the best place to leave them is the comment section down below. Again, there's usually a lot of people asking the same stuff, so if you want to get a better chance of being answered, try and ask a different question that's both relevant and interesting, maybe to other people. So with that said, let's go into the first question. By the way, like it if you do like it, because it's good for you, and I know it feeds the wife and kids. But let's get straight into the first question, which comes in from the Singing AJ, who says, every Christmas we get a new tutorial. Will we be getting one this year? So we do tend to get at least one new tutorial world every year for Minecraft Console Edition. This is something that doesn't take a genius to spot. It's happened every December the past few years, but before that it happened like August in 2013, I think. Basically, pretty much every single year we have had a brand new tutorial world, but we'll be getting one this year, and that really depends on what the update is. So bear in mind, if this new update just brings in minigames, I think the odds of a new tutorial world are probably like less than 10%. Like, it's possible, and maybe 4J will do it because, they have like building teams that are probably like, need something to do, so maybe they'll just make a new tutorial world for fun. However, you gotta bear in mind, this year hasn't been, usually they bring it in with a big content update, and this next update doesn't look like it's going to be a, survival/creative update. It's going to be some form of minigame based update because there isn't any features besides PvP and, 1.13 stuff to add. So we'll be getting a new tutorial world this year. I'd say this is the least likely year so far, but we don't know enough about the next console update yet to be entirely certain. So let's move on to the second question, which comes in from Aman60, who says, in the UK, what do you think about net neutrality? I'm in the UK too, but it could affect us as well, I guess. So to answer your question, because this has been the big hot pot topic on the internet, I'm sure no matter where you've gone, no matter what channels you follow, no matter which websites you go onto, you've probably seen something about net neutrality. And this is one of my big problems with, I guess, certain people and the way they use the internet, but it seems like a lot of people, especially YouTubers, every other YouTuber seems to just assume all of their audience is American. They're American, so their audience must be American too. Every website has the same thing, every subreddit I go onto. However, this is something that isn't really true in the slightest. One in like 20 human beings in the world is an American, and United States of American, by the way, and like on the internet it's like 1 in every 8, but still, most people on the internet aren't American. This doesn't affect you if you're not in the US. It's a really big deal. I feel like if you are in the US, you should care about this. This is something you should be up in arms in some form. However, if you're not in the US, this literally doesn't affect you. Like, they're saying like, oh, the internet's going to be gated. It's going to be gated for Americans, and that's something they never say because it's, easier to scare people. But basically, yeah, this is something where it's a big deal and you should care, but it's also just like an example of like, for instance, Thanksgiving just happened and everyone's like, oh, Thanksgiving must be this worldwide thing. No, it's Canadian and American as far as I'm aware. Basically, my point being is a lot of Americans on the internet, you just need to realize that other countries exist too, and we do use this same internet, and it's one of my pet peeves in the world, and maybe I'm sorry, I probably offended like the vast majority of my American viewers, but America is a lovely country with lovely traditions, but it just has the slight downside of, I guess, it only happens sometimes, but like, some people just forget that they have non-American viewers, followers, whatever too, and that sometimes gets on my nerves. But anyway, with that said, let's move on to the third question, which comes in from Husky, who says, that's a strange name. Anyway, they say, I'm just wondering, when will we get new flipping armor? Ooh, flipping armor. But when will we get new armor for Minecraft? And the truth is yeah, a lot of people look at the fact that they're always adding new things and updates, and they question the fact that there has not been any new armor types, weapon types, or types really, in the longest time. All was in like 1.3/1.4, but there hasn't been new armor or new weapons since like the alpha of the game. So why is that the case? I just want to, get some new armor or get some new weapons. And the truth is I think the balance system is very, delicate. Like, there's no real complexities to armor. There's just one value to it. And I think the armor system is something they don't want to change because it's just so iconic to Minecraft at this point. And that is why, if you are excited about a big game-changing feature like that, Jeb has shown like a kind of reluctance to change some of the core fundamentals to make the game easier to pick up for people who haven't played it in a really long time. So that's my understanding at least, and it actually moves nicely into our fourth question here, which comes in from Lynx, who says, I'm sorry when you get people who ask things that a lot of us already know, no offense to them, as they probably don't watch you enough to know. Also, the Switch uses cartridges. I'm assuming you only get digital copies and never noticed the cartridge slot. Lol. So yeah, I download digital copies almost exclusively everywhere now because it just saves time in the end. But I do have one cartridge game for my Nintendo Switch, and I think it's Breath of the Wild, or it might be Mario Kart 8, but I have one cartridge game game, and I leave the cartridge in there all the time, so it's basically like I don't use the cartridge slot. Yeah, you're right. So let's talk about your first thing though, the point that tied into the previous question, because yeah, a lot of people sometimes say like, Toycat, that's actually fairly obvious to most of us that follow your channel, but the thing is, QnA Saturday is just my opportunity to answer your questions that are put out there. I try to pick the ones that I think are, going to be more broadly relevant, or that have more upvotes, or that more people will probably get more interest from. However, the thing you gotta bear in mind is that I can only answer questions that I have. So if you are the sort of person that looks at these questions and say, they're not potentially good enough, then make sure you ask a question that you're actually curious about the answer to, because that's the only way QnA Saturday can work. I still won't answer the shields question for the 50 millionth time. No, we don't have shields on console. We'll probably get them sometime in the future. I won't answer the shield question for the billionth time, but there is a lot of questions which I get on a weekly basis, and a lot of them, you might say like, I already know that, and that's fairly obvious, but I mean, I guess to a lot of people they're not, because that's why they're asking the questions. So yeah, I try to cater this to like the majority of people, but if there's no questions that you find interesting, then maybe you should be the one who leaves that question. Be the change you want to see in the world, or in this case, be the change you want to see in IBX Toycat's QnA Saturday comment section. That should be a famous quote. So let's move on to the fifth question, which comes in from Quibble, who says, QnA, what do you think of smartwatches, e.g. the Apple Watch, and then Happy Easter? So I'm not sure if your mental clock is just way off. I mean, I guess like Thanksgiving is like American Easter, but like they have Easter, whatever. So what do we think of smartwatches? I think that they were gonna be a big thing, and then a part of me just like, I got one, and I realized this is like really silly. I got a really cheap one, so maybe that's why. And then like, I've always been like anti-smartwatch ever since then, because all they do is link up to your phone, show you the time, but like, there's basically no point to have a smartwatch because the phone is encroaching into every other device in the world. And the best way to prove that point is like the Apple Watch, which when Apple sells anything, people are going to be like, whoa, I love me some Apple, gonna buy that. I mean, it's just a fact. Like, Apple is a good manufacturer, they make generally quality products, so people want to buy those generally quality products, and they'll pay the price premium, and they'll buy things they don't even want to buy because Apple. And that's like, that's a good business model. And the thing is though, you gotta bear in mind that even with that big Apple boost of Apple making a smartwatch, I think there's an Apple Watch 2 on the way. The Apple Watch 1 has only sold something like 1 million units. And you might say 1 million units, that's clearly success, but I don't think this is going to be one of those big success stories. I think smartwatches will be remembered in like 10 years as like, oh, that happened. Because some people have them, and I kind of want one still at this point. Like, again, like, it would be good to try one. But the truth is I feel like 1 million units compared to like 200 million iPhone 7s or 6s. They said there's like hundreds of millions of phones sold, and like 1 million smartwatches of the biggest smartwatch manufacturer. It just goes to show that it's like, it's a cool idea, but I think it's going to take some revolution before it goes anywhere, because again, most people just don't feel like they need one, whereas everyone feels like they need a new phone every year. Like, that's just a thing you need in your life somehow. I don't know how that ever became the case. Like, again, it's true for me too, by the way. I'm not saying like, oh, I hate technology. I love phones. I love that we all have like high-tech computers in our pocket, but I'm confused as to how it got to the point where everyone decides like, yes, I need the new latest phone every year or I will be dead. And I mean, that's just how things are, whereas that's not going to be true for smartwatches, because I'm not sure what the difference is, but it's something where I don't see the smartwatch ever taking over. So there you go, there's my opinions on technology, but let's move back into the next question from Overdone360, who says, Q, how many hours do you have on Minecraft? I have about 30 days. So I was shocked about this because I pulled this up midstream to prove a point. I didn't know how many days I had, but I have 180 days in Minecraft Xbox One Edition, just that one game alone, which adds up to something like 4,200 hours. It's 3 hours every day for the past like 4 or 5 years, which is actually kind of nuts when you think about it. And yeah, then on the new Minecraft, I have 18 days. So I have something like 200 hours of Minecraft on my Xbox One alone, and I guess if you add in like all the other versions, it probably comes closer to 300 days. I have a lot of hours in Minecraft, yes, and I don't know whether to think that's like the best investment ever, or if it's like, maybe you should spend a little bit less time in Minecraft. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it still, and it's crazy. I don't think any other game can exist where you can play 300 days and still feel like you've only touched the surface of like what's possible. Because right now in the back, you assume you build this little thing right here, and it's like, something's a bit wrong about this. I'm gonna learn how to do this, and if I build this again, I'll be better at next time, and maybe I'll build in survival. I know there's just a lot of things where it's where you realize that the game is just, it's so infinite that 300 days is just the scratch on the surface. I worry that like maybe you play this game your whole life, and then when you're 80, you're like, I'm almost done, but not quite, and then you die before you finish. Anyway, with that said, let's move to the next question. I don't know where that was going, which comes in from Dead Channel, who says, I always buy minigame DLC, hope there is some for build-off brackets if this is coming. So, if the build-off minigame DLC minigame is coming at all, which, again, seems likely, I'd put it at like 75, 80, 85% chance, like, you know, it's more likely to happen than it is not to. I do not imagine it will come with its own DLC. Why do I not imagine that, you ask? Or if you're not asking, then I'll pretend you asked. Then basically, it's because it's like, so they had Glide, which had a season pass. They had Battle, which had a season pass. But both their season passes were like a one-year event. So like Battle was till April of the next year. So was Glide. So they'll probably release a new minigame with a new season pass in the next year. However, they also like to do these free minigames. I think it's like a good way to build goodwill in the community. And also, if you think about build-off in particular, you've got to imagine, like, how would you put DLC in for that? Like, buy more themes? No, that could be a free update. You can't charge people for themes. Buy a new map to build it in. Why would anyone want that? There's no easy way to monetize it. It's like Tumble, where like you could, in theory, add some DLC to that. But I think 4J have a really good like attitude towards DLC and stuff like that. They have the best trial system out there in the market. Like, you don't realize how good 4J are doing with their DLC model until you look at the new Minecraft, where it's like, well, there's 16,000 pieces of DLC and there's no trials for any of it. And also you have to buy, you know, pretend coins to buy it. Whereas, you know, the 4J version, it's like, yep, we'll sell you stuff if it takes us a long time to develop, but you know, we'll give you a lot of free stuff too. I really like that philosophy. There's free skin packs on Xbox One too. Basically, I really like the 4J philosophy, and I imagine that means you won't get DLC. And if you're the one guy in the world that's excited to buy DLC and you know, you prefer it if there was DLC to like free content, then I guess you might be upset, especially you, Dead Channel. By the way, does anyone look at this and see a gorilla, or is that just me? Or like his profile picture? Like, scroll back and see it, because I see a gorilla, but there's no gorilla there, but like I still see it anyway. But anyway, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Trey the Benecrat. So Trey the Benecrat, or Imperial Trey, who says, at IBX Toycat, when do you think the woodblocks from the latest 1.13 snapshot of Java Edition is coming to Minecraft Console Edition or Bedrock Edition? So, simple answer to this question is soon, question mark, question mark, question mark. So here's the thing, I feel like there's a chance this next update on the console is going to be, you know, like, whatever, PvP and then maybe 1.13 too, but I think, again, that's not likely to happen, and I think the PE version, is going to wait till 1.3 to introduce both these things as well. So I imagine what's going to happen with the console edition, again, I can't comment too much on Bedrock because their philosophy of development seems to change a lot, but I think on the console we'll get 1.13 and 1.14 as one bigger update, again, next year whenever the Aquatic update does release. So yeah, we can expect like a bigger update on console than you're expecting elsewhere, but that's just my expectation so far. I wasn't expecting 1.13 to have like enough cool features like this that people actually want, but it is something that's happening, and therefore we have to just go shrug, question mark, question mark. So let's move on to the 9th question, which comes in from aka Silverado YT, who says, can you give us some good tips for PvP? So I want to make PvP videos all the time on like how to help people improve, because I feel like it's something I can really help the subscribers of my channel with, and yeah, it's something I want to do. However, there's this big issue where PvP is different depending on where you play it. PvP in a regular multiplayer world where you're just like playing survival or whatever, that's really different to PvP when you're playing in the Hunger Games, which is different to when you play PvP in Sky Wars, or when you're playing it in like Bed Wars or Money Wars or Egg Wars or Cake Wars or any of the Wars game modes, and that's different when you play on a competitive PvP server, and it's different when you're playing on the phone versus when you're playing on the PC versus playing on a console. Basically, there's just a billion different tips for PvP, and I really wanted to make a video for the longest time about it, but it's just too tricky to like generalize, so I'd have to make a good PvP tips for like, you know, Hunger Games. Pro tip, always eat, you know, it's called the Hunger Games, make sure you're not hungry so you can always regenerate your food. You know, pro tip for like Bed Wars is like, you know, knock people off, and that way you don't have, that way you can win with any weapon, so sprint at them real fast and sprint at an angle. Pro tip for like competitive PvP would be like get good with your bow, because the bow is really OP. Pro tip for like if you're in a regular world is set traps and, you know, get stuff the other person doesn't expect, like weird enchantments and TNC, and then surprise them. Element of surprise always wins. There you go, there's some PvP tips. I would make a whole video, but like, you know, there's too many different types of PvP. So yeah, let's move to the 10th question though, which comes in from Chris Critchell, who says, first a comment, I love your videos, also where are you traveling to next? So first of all, thank you very much for loving the videos. Again, people like you allow me to do this, and given the weird things YouTube's been doing my channel lately, it's really good to know that you're out there. But let's talk about your, but also you might think you're first, and I get like 1,000 first comments on every video I make. You're not the first to comment. I mean, one of you might be, and if that's like the biggest thing you're world, whatever, you can be happy with that. But the truth is if you watch on the mobile app, it doesn't reload comments, so you hit the video the first time, it loads comments, and if there's no comments, then, you know, you watch the video, or even if you just go there first, basically, you're never first, just assume you're not first, and because, you know, out of the 1,000 people that type first, or it's more like 20, but out of the 20 people that type first, only one of you is, and no one cares if you're the first person. I know it's like tempting to be like first, but you're not first, so, I mean, even if you were, it wouldn't be impressive, but you're not, so, pro tip, don't do that. But anyway, Critical, I'll give you benefit of the doubt that maybe you were first, or maybe it's like your favorite thing in the world. You wake up every morning, and you think, today, I'm going to be the first on IBX Toycat's comments. And if that's true, then let's talk about where I'm traveling to next, because I'll just briefly answer that, because, again, I just wanted to get that out of the way. It's a mini rant. I want to rant about everything in the world, but today, I just want to tell you that where I'm traveling to next is actually Austria. So I'm going to, I don't actually know the name of the village. It's like, it's a funny Austrian name, but I'm going to, it's basically near Innsbruck, which is like in the Austrian Alps. I've always wanted to go to the Austrian Alps. I don't even know why. I've been to Austria like once before, but this is like my first time like really visiting. And I'm going to be in a mountain for a bit. I'm going to do a bit of skiing, and it's going to be a bit of fun, like just relaxation from YouTube, because December's coming up, and December for me on YouTube is usually the month where I go really crazy hard and try to make all the videos, because again, some people get more time in December, and then there's like Christmas, and basically I just want to go hard on the videos, so I'm giving myself a relaxation break first, and then we're going back in when I come back in a couple of days, and we're going to make all the videos and all the streams in the world, and probably a stream every day in December. That's something, that'd be a cool goal to succeed with, right? And that's what I'm going to try and do. So hopefully all of you are looking forward to crazy December, or like crazy video / stream December. If you are, you can like to let me know, because it helps out the channel a lot. Let us know you do like the QnA Saturday, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if subscribed, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Make sure you turn on notifications too, because it's good for you, and more seriously, it'll allow you to actually see all those videos, because again, YouTube literally removed all my channels, all my videos from the view of my channel for like the longest time. As of me recording this, it's not back. I assume it will be soon, but they just removed all my videos from my main channel page, so there was no way to find them, and it's like, that's kind of terrifying. So the best way to see the videos as long as I can is to either follow me on Twitter, turn on notifications there, or you can just follow and check it regularly, or to go to subscribe to me on YouTube and turn on notifications there, or check back regularly. I recommend notifications because you click it once, it saves you a lot of time, but that's just my opinion personally. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next week, I guess. Leave your comments down below, and goodbye.